This El Clasico postgame podcast is brought to you by Manscaped, where you can get 20% off and free shipping. That's manscaped.com. You can go to manscaped.com, use code Managing Madrid for 20% off and free shipping. And we are absolutely ecstatic. We're recording this just after the game ends and Real Madrid wins 3-2 and Jude Bellingham scores the game winner. And it's absolute mayhem in the Bernabeu. Now the dust has settled. People have left. It's a little bit quieter, but wow, what a game. And to kick off this podcast, we are going to give out the Manscaped Man of the Match award, which goes to the player who manscaped the most, therefore performed the best in this game. And we're going to hand it over to Yash Thakur, who's going to hand out the Manscaped Man of the Match award. Yash, who is tonight's Manscaped Man of the Match?
Without a iota of doubt, it's Lucas Vasquez for his equalizing goal and his match-winning assist. Just an overall very complete performance from the guy.
Congratulations, Lucas Vasquez, for winning tonight's Manscaped Man of the Match award. Listeners, if you want to perform like Lucas Vasquez, if you want to have game-winning assists to Jude Bellingham, if you want to have balls of steel at the Etihad and score your penalty, go over to manscaped.com, use code Managing Madrid for 20% off and free shipping. That's manscaped.com, use code Managing Madrid for 20% off and free shipping.
Nice article in the Managing Madrid blog. Wonderful lads that do a great job there. Worth reading about that man there. Karim Benzema needs the rest, and the numbers reveal why.
Times ended up almost looking like a 6-3-1. Some very good writing about that on the Managing Madrid website. First-rate podcast as well. Of course, Fede Valverde was a huge part of the equation.
All right, we are live from the Bernabeu. It is 11:23 p.m. local time. The fans have left the stadium. The lawnmowers are out. There's a few people here, press row, who, like me, decided not to go to the press conference. But we were going to record this an hour after the game, and I was like, guys, we want to record right now while the adrenaline is hot, while we're still emotional, while we're still pumped up after that game winner. We'll deal with Ancelotti and Xavi post-game quotes as they come. Wow, it was absolutely pandemonium in here. Sid, you and I were talking before the game, this Clasico kind of got overlooked in some ways because it was after the Etihad hangover and sandwich in between going to Munich for the first leg in now just about 9 days. And there wasn't that much at stake. Barca were going to treat this like a World Cup final. I don't think we got out of first gear for large stretches, although I thought we were pretty good overall. We had some also things that we needed to improve on. And I don't the thing is, it's just, you just kind of sit here and laugh, guys, because how many times do we just see the same movie over and over and over and over and over and over again? Like, do the opponents know they're about to lose? Do the opponents know it's going to be a late game winner? Do the opponents know that no matter what happens, like Real Madrid will just win? It's highly entertaining for us. And I had a blast tonight, and I hope you guys had a blast watching at home as well. Why don't we start with you, Yash? Where do you want to start with this? We can start anywhere you want. It's on you, buddy.
Well, first of all, what a game. Obviously, we have had some really exciting Clásicos before, and especially coming off of that City game, we were still riding that high. I feel like there wasn't much of weight or much at stake for us here. Obviously, the league is at stake. If we lost, it would have become tricky going into the final few games of the league. But we were still riding that City game high, and it was like, okay, whatever happens, players have run down their legs in that game. Whatever happens, I'm fine with it. They score an early goal. It was like, all right, man, I think this is not going to end in our favor. We equalize pretty quickly. Then the game becomes, they still create a lot. Like, they threaten us from set pieces. We look very vulnerable on corners especially. But then the same thing happens. Jude Bellingham steps up in the right moment, is at the right place at the end, just puts it away, and the Bernabeu just erupts. It's even funnier because of what happened when Barcelona scored their second goal. I want to begin by, like, let's just talk about our player of the match. That, let's just start by talking about Lucas Vasquez, who first of all scored a brilliant goal to equalize by making a blindsided run at the far post. I mean, I don't know if we should call it blindsided, but Cancelo was just not there in the game at that point of time, and then put in a perfect ball for that equalizer. So let's start by talking about Lucas Vasquez. I guess let's give him his flowers.
Coming off the back of what he did at the Etihad, off the bench, not only in his performance. I mean, he was, when just full disclosure and transparency, like, and I don't know if anyone else felt this way, but I'll be really honest. When because I think he came in for Vinicius at the Etihad, and at that point I was like, man, so where's the goal going to come from exactly? We just took out like probably our only counter attack threat, and there was already minimal counter attacks happening. Vasquez actually picked it up right away and was involved in the counter attacks at the Etihad. And then you fast forward to the scenes of him rallying the team before the penalty shootout, and then leading by example, not just with words, but by action, by juggling the ball, ice cold finish in the penalty shootout. We discussed that to death. Then today, playing at right back, um, just a fantastic goal, involved in several offensive sequences, defended well, and then the assist was great. Does it technically? I don't know. I haven't checked if it technically does or doesn't count as an assist, because it was initially to Joselu who kind of miskicked it. So I don't know exactly, but either way, we all know we're counting that as an assist. Sid, any further thoughts on Vasquez before we get to anything else?
Nothing new on him, other than that I thought we were screwed when we were down 2-1 so late in the game. Like, at that point, everyone was saying, and everyone was calling for Carlo's head, is what I remember. Just
Really?
Quick glance on the timeline, everyone's like, "You idiot! Like, you took it too easy. Like, everyone was tired. Should have took people off. Blah blah blah." And then 2 minutes later, Vasquez equalizes, and that's when we knew for the second time that, like, tonight, that we had come out to play, and the game state really brought the best out of us. But nothing more to add.
I felt that this game actually was in some ways a very classico, if that makes sense. Like, you had both teams have waves of momentum. I thought, despite the goal conceded, we actually started off the better team, and then Barca had, like, midway through the first half, Barca had another swing in momentum towards their favor, and then to begin the second half, no team was really threatening that much, and then Barca had a spell, and then we had a spell, and we were just a better team, really, after that. I guess I've just seen enough from this team over the years that, even when Fermin scored and just did his whole thing where he goes to the crowd, and flaunts his stuff, and we all know, by the way, what would have happened, what the narrative would have been if Vinicius did that. I'm sure this Fermin thing, it's already forgotten. Like, he didn't do that. He didn't provoke anyone. He didn't provoke fans. We know what would have happened if that was Vinicius. But either way, I think we've seen enough of Real Madrid in our lifetime to know that even at that stage, we're not counted out of the game. Let's go back chronologically, because if you think back to the first half, there were problems, namely our defending on corners, and then obviously Camavinga was having some difficulty with Lamine Yamal. Yash, what did you see anything specifically with our set piece defending that you could, like, pinpoint? Like, what was happening there?
Nothing, like, I couldn't note anything specific because I was too invested in the game emotionally. I wasn't viewing it as much tactically, but it was pretty much easy for Barcelona to generate a free man on their corners. Like, the way they were using one of the players to block one of our defenders' vision and get in front of them to get to the ball first. It was almost like pretty easy for them to get the first contact on corners, despite us sort of having Rudiger and Tchouameni, who are good in the air, like, who can dominate the aerial duels. But still, like, them making those run-ins, it almost went untracked. I'm not sure, like, what the actual tactical reason for it was. It Barcelona's offensive corner strategy or something. I could not like, I cannot really point it out, but I felt like it was pretty easy. Our marking on the corners was not up to the mark. That is what I felt. But yeah, I would love to hear what your thoughts on that were.
Well, one thing I noticed was that there was just a lot of screening action. Like, you know, hate to like bring in basketball analogies and setting picks and screens, but they were doing that like on corners. You could see Barca players trying to screen in front of Lunin. You could see them trying to block players, and usually it was the shorter players who would do it, trying to free up Araujo and Christensen on those corners. And then on top of that, there was just some confusion. Like in some ways, in the moment I thought this, and I don't know if anyone actually thought this, but when Christensen scores the header on the corner, he towers over Cruz, right? And I was like, man, like Cruz got dunked on, and I wonder if anyone will just like blame Cruz for that. And I felt bad because Cruz is actually like, if you rewind the play, Cruz saves a goal leading up to the corner in that left half space. I think it was Vinny who gave it away, but I'm not sure. Cruz runs over and makes a tackle, forces the corner, and then on the corner, Lunin comes out of his net. He shouldn't have, and Cruz gets towered over by Christensen. But just on the topic of Cruz, Cruz was, I thought, fantastic again. He was one of many players I enjoyed watching today, and he had three terrific defensive interventions like early on in the game, and of course his passing was also great. Um, since we're still on the topic of corners and defending corners, and Mehedi's just joined us here, so I'm going to bring him in. Welcome, Mehedi.
Hey guys.
We're just in time, Mehedi. We're about to talk about some controversy. So we just finished talking about our defending on corners and also the goal that Barca scored. There was the whole goal line tech VAR intervention thing. You guys are better informed than me on this subject because in the stadium, none of us had any idea what was going on. There were no screens. In my head, I was like, why is this taking so long? Because you have to look. It either crossed the line or didn't, and let's just get on with it. And then later on, I went and saw some replays and some images and whatever. But can you guys can you jump in on that, Sid, first?
Yeah, I mean, it looked like, firstly, Lunin, I mean, it was really close on the replays. It was really, really close. Lunin saved it. It looked like he kind of clawed it out of the goal line. And on the replay, all the angles were kind of tilted, so you couldn't actually see if it went over. And if they had the same replays, or even if they had slightly better ones, the problem is the post and Lunin, the way he was like angled, kind of made it hard. It obscured. You couldn't really see if it crossed the goal line. And so from the replays, it was ambiguous. And it wasn't obvious that it went over the goal line either, I will say. So since it wasn't obvious either way, and they don't have the goal line technology, which is their fault, they decided to go with the least controversial decision, which in my opinion is no goal. So I think it's as fair, like either team gets that. If the same situation happens for Barcelona, I think they call it the same way because it's just a less controversial decision. You couldn't see it going over the goal line clearly. You could see like hints that it might have went over the goal line, which is what made it weird. Like if you watch it, it could have, but you don't see that it did, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
So it was weird.
it was. There is no definitive angle to show that it went over the line or it didn't. There is like one replay where Gerard Romero is sharing. Again, it's from a tilted angle from which it will appear.
Who?
that-
Gerard Romero?
Yeah.
Oh, I wonder if he has any biases. I'm not sure. I'm
Yeah,
just-
so
who
so
is he?
one replay he's showing like he's like with all those Griezmann emojis that definitely went in, but even that is from a tilted angle, so it makes no sense. And there is another angle, the one from behind Lunin actually, where you can see like you can see a little bit of the ball between Lunin's hand and the post, which confirms that it didn't, which kind of like shows that it didn't go over the line. So yeah, since you cannot definitively say that it went over the line, the benefit of the doubt has to go to the defending team, which was Real Madrid. But my controversy, or like my take on this, is a bit outside of this goal. I mean, like we're seeing all these clips, all these images, all these channels trying to give their own view on this. If this was Real Madrid trying to score this goal, there would be one replay and the referee would say no goal and would move on. So yeah, I'm more mad about
Oh,
that like why are we even discussing this for this long? Because it's Barcelona. I mean, like, not us, the general consensus I'm talking about.
so this is the image that Canal Plus um, posted, which shows that it didn't go over the line. I don't know. I don't know. Like,
Yeah, again, I mean, Kian, this channel probably does not have more technology than La Liga, so this could just be a render.
but it did.
So
But La Liga didn't have technology at all. So
yeah,
it's not the thing. La Liga was just going based on replays, and they were like, I don't know, like, did it cross the line or not? Obviously, what this does is open up a broader discussion, right?
yeah,
You guys see Tebas immediately came out and on Twitter, and at first I thought it was a parody account. Like, why is this guy tweeting right now? Like, at halftime, I think it was, or just before halftime, he tweeted out like a few articles from a few years ago that in Italy, like, uh VAR had to overturn goal line technology because goal line technology got it wrong. So he was basically just like doubling down on the fact that, like, first of all, the excuse was initially goal line technology is too expensive, which seems to be a cop out. Like, if anyone is thinking about this clearly, like, it's obviously not too expensive. Like, La
no, it's
Liga
not.
has money to give to raise Tebas' salary. La Liga has money to do other things. Now he's not saying it's too expensive. He's saying, "Oh, no, no, no," because it just doesn't work. Is what he's saying. So what it is, I don't know, but obviously it's very backwards that we don't have it, because this really, apart from being inconclusive right now, it's also it took up a lot of time on the field,
Yeah.
precious time. Like, it should have just been, dang, we know. Like, let's just move on with the game one way or the other. So I think that brings up just a basically a bigger picture talking point. Yeah, did you have any thoughts on this before we move on?
Yeah, it's an absolute joke that La Liga does not have goal line technology, and it always slips my mind that I'm like, why is it when that happened? Like, my reaction was the same. Why is it taking so long? Like, the referee should know, and then it is, oh shit, La Liga does not have goal line technology. It's an absolute joke. Like, one of the biggest leagues in the world, like, does not have money to bring in goal line technology. I find that hilarious. Like, come on, just get on with it.
Sid, Lamine Yamal versus Camavinga. What were you seeing there?
I saw a guy who hadn't played left back for a long time, who had played left back maybe for a little bit this season, being thrown back in the fray just because Carlo can instead of Fran Garcia. And not that Fran would have done better. And I saw in Lamine, one of the best right wingers in the world now, who's just really good acceleration, just really good at attacking players off the dribble, really fast, really good at using his positioning and body language to deceive the opponent in the way he receives the ball to just advance the ball. He's good at advancing the ball. So it was tough. It was a tough time for Camavinga. I guess like we did bring on Fran and get the win, so it worked out in the end. But I was looking forward to seeing Mendy playing that matchup. So I wasn't too surprised, to be honest. I guess I should add that. I wasn't really surprised, I guess, because I just didn't think I wasn't expecting Camavinga to have a great game against Lamine Yamal. Like Mo Salah, Bernardo Silva, even Leroy Sané, like those are the guys I wouldn't want Camavinga to play against. Just feels like he's a little aggressive with his positioning. Like doesn't know how to back off sometimes. I don't know. I don't know what it is. He's just not used to it. He's not used to the angles.
Yeah, the
I,
Camavinga versus Lamine Yamal thing was interesting. I think you bring up a good point that he hasn't played left back there in a long time. Um, Keep in mind, like, him at left back for the longest time was actually a great success, and it's still maybe. I mean, this was in some ways a weird game because he hasn't played there in that long, and there was a lot of space behind him, and he was a little bit aggressive with his positioning. And Lamine Yamal is a fantastic footballer, and all those things I think kind of contributed to this. I will say I thought there was a couple things. Camavinga was dangerous offensively in the first half. He was trying to just cheat behind Kunde and get in behind that space, and it was causing Barca problems a couple times. And I thought he actually Camavinga defended Yamal better in the second half for the most part. And also we got some positive Fran Garcia minutes I thought when he came in, but yeah, the Camavinga thing was. I understand why Mendy didn't play. Like he wasn't 100%. He had discomfort. He didn't train yesterday, and there's just no way you're risking him with Bayern coming up. Like you would even take the L in this game if you had to, but you're not. Now the other discussion is, well, why not just bring Fran Garcia? And that's a conversation you can have. He hasn't played much recently, so I don't know what form he'd be in, but he looked great off the bench.
I agree with Sid on the point about that angles change, and I mean we have had, as you mentioned as well, we have had good games with Kamavinga at left back, and at one point it was like he should be starting there because none of the other options, are good enough at that point. But yeah, like his style of defending when he is playing as a midfielder has always been that he has those spider legs that he likes to go into and win the ball back. And when you're playing as the fullback, the angles and the time that you get while going in for a challenge is just a lot different, because with Lamine Yamal having that sort of change of pace with him, like he can just, the way he was able to buy in that challenge and then just generate that space for himself. I mean, he's a great footballer, but yeah, that's what I think caused a problem. But I feel like him playing at left back also fulfilled Ancelotti's fantasy of having both Chouameni and Camavinga in defense at once, and he has got that finally. So that's one more list of one more tick of his bucket list, I guess, for the season.
I thought it was also it's worth noting that um we had Fede on the right side, and on Camavinga's side, he didn't have like that much defensive help. I thought, apart from Jude, who actually came over and did a lot of work there, but uh, like oftentimes when Camavinga has a bad performance at left back defensively, it's also a byproduct of him being on an island isolated against a speedy winger with a high line, and that's kind of what happened today as well. But the thing that worried me most about that is he got the yellow card, and knowing that Camavinga is a yellow card machine, and knowing that for the rest of the game, the plan would have been for Lamine Yamal to just dribble at him and try to bait him into tackles. Um, Given all that circumstance, I thought he did better in the second half when he came off. Um, Mehedi, we can talk about Modric. We can talk about Tchouameni. What do you like? What do you want to talk about?
I think we can talk about Modric first.
Okay.
I didn't see anything necessarily wrong with his game. It was pretty good in large parts of the game, and he actually closed out the game. Cruz was the one who went to the bench, I think around the 60th minute. It would appear. Modric controlled the right hand side well, contributed in defense pretty extensively as well. His first flick to Vinicius, I think it was right after Barcelona scored. I think within a couple of minutes of Barcelona scored, where Tchouameni and Modric, both of them stitched together a really good move, and Modric flicks it to Vinicius and he puts it over the bar. That was like Modric of the old days, almost. Physically, he looked well. He tracked back well, and especially even when Real Madrid had to deal with aerial duels, I think Modric was pretty significant in the midfield regarding those as well. So overall, liked his game. Nothing specific that I thought is worthy of criticism or anything. Kiyan, you're muted. Kiyan, you're muted.
I can't believe I still make this mistake of talking on mute in 2024. Sorry, guys. Yeah, just a note on Modric. I thought he made a lot of good off-ball runs to help us escape pressure, and him and Tchouameni I thought had good synergy in that, escaping Barca's press at times, where Tchouameni would play the right vertical ball, and he could in part play it because Modric was making the right run. which would break Barca's press. And of course, he was always composed on the ball. He does this thing like he had a couple where he like really difficult flicks with his head, like right into the right, like either like leading Vinicius in the box for a great chance, or he had one in the second half which set Fede Valverde free on the right flank. Uh, I don't know, man. The more I've seen of Modric this season, the more I'm like, I don't know if I'm ready. Like, I don't think he's he's lost it yet. Like, he's still contributing with some incredible minutes. So I just wanted to leave that note on Modric. Yash, where do you want to go next?
I think let's talk about Chouameni and the thing that was happening between defense and the midfield at times. I don't know if you guys noticed it or not, but there were often times where we had this back line of almost a five where Fede Valverde was dropping in at
Yeah,
times covering for Chouameni because Chouameni was stepping up a lot in the midfield. It almost felt like Fede Valverde was becoming a pseudo centre back at times there. So yeah, I mean, I want to get your thoughts on that, and then I'll comment on that as well. What did you guys make of that?
I mean, it was cool. It was cool. Like he was dropping back. I mean, to be honest, the main thing I'd say is about both defending and attacking Barcelona. After the game we just played on Wednesday, everything felt like it was way easier. It was like if you played the game like 2 3 easier difficulties on FIFA, it's from if you went from like world class or ultimate or legendary on FIFA all the way down to like amateur. That's what it felt like. So uh I mean, I just mean it in the sense that like everything was easier, but Barcelona still attempt a lot of similar things. Like they attempt the same a lot of overloads, and we did a good job today. Yes, without Nacho, a natural defender, we have Tchouameni, but also without Mendy, the natural left back, and Camavinga there, it was maybe favorable to defend in a back five at moments, and he did a good job. That was just some good coaching from David Ancelotti and Carlo Ancelotti.
you guys wanna you you guys ready for the Xavi quotes post game?
Yes, of course.
All right, buckle up. Well, first of all, just would like to congratulate him and all Barcelona fans for whatever trophy they claimed today. But here's the explanation of the trophy they won according to Xavi. Quote: With the game we played, the normal thing is to win. We played better than Madrid at the Bernabeu. We have to tell the fans that we played very well today and we deserved the 3 points. And the referee controversy was a shame.
I
We're
think
so
all
happy
of
for you guys, Barca fans. We're so happy for you guys.
Did you guys see when Carlo was talking to him after the full-time whistle? So
Yeah.
Carlo first like hugged him, and then Xavi kept talking about like he was probably complaining about something. Then Carlo started hugging him again. Like,
Yeah,
just shut
Carlo
up.
was just like, okay, little dog.
Yeah, just shut
You're
up
just,
and get out of my stadium.
uh,
these Barcelona fans, and I mean especially like Xavi and all, it almost feels like, I don't know if you guys will get this analogy or not, but in cricket, England fans always claim
Yeah.
a moral victory after losing, and this just feels like it. They'll get thrashed by the opponent, and they'll be like, we played better and we we won the moral, we have the moral high ground on this. I'm like, dude, you lost by an innings, like shut up. Like, what are you talking about?
well, I don't. Maybe I missed something, guys. Tell me, what did Barca do to be better at than Real Madrid today? They were not better than Real Madrid.
Did you guys talk about the XGs and stuff already?
Well, I'll bring it up right now. The only good bot on that damn app called X is Mark's StatsBot, and the great bot that he is posted. So Real Madrid 3-2 Barcelona XG Real Madrid 3.12 Barcelona 1.3. I imagine that probably includes the penalty, which would be what 0.76 or something.
I
Even
think
with
penalty is about 0.7, right? The
Yeah,
penalty was the first goal.
yeah, and even without even if you exclude the penalty, it's still way higher than Barca's. Expected threat slightly in Barca's favor. Possession 53% Barca's favor. Field tilt basically dead even. So I don't know. Like I was hoping the analytics would back up Xavi and not me, but unfortunately they backed up me. Sorry, Xavi. The pass maps, nothing too glaring. Actually, this is something I did want to bring up. Was that we actually had a lot of play in the right side. Like
Yeah.
so much of our history has been left sided heavy. Today, Rodrigo was mostly on the right wing. We had a lot of link up between Vinny, Jude, Modric, Fede, Vasquez on that side, and not so much on the left side. That was kind of interesting. Best ball progressors: Araujo, Kunde, Ter Stegen, Luka Modric. Anything stick out to you guys there?
Actually, apparently, I just found out that apparently the Stats Bomb one has it a little different. The XG, it has us at I mean, this one has us at about 3.1 minus. It had us as about 2.4 without the penalty, but Stats Bomb has us closer to 1.8 or 1.5 without the penalty, and has Barcelona closer to like 1.8. So it has Barcelona a little higher without the penalty, for what it's worth. But I just think it's interesting. The models are so different.
Yeah.
But yeah, yeah. I mean, main thing that stood out to me is in the duels. If you see, Jude won a lot of duels. Lucas Vasquez won a lot of duels. They won some of the most duels on the team. Thought it was interesting because Jude, I feel like he played a more workhorse role because he still seems to be like slightly injured or something. He's still working like his way back from something that he picked up some time ago, and I think it's that ankle injury or whatever. And so I feel like he played a little more like a workhorse until obviously he still got the goal at the end, which is great for him. And I think you see that in the duels won.
And in terms of all of the Catalan or like Cruyffismo football metrics that we hear about, Real Madrid were better in everything. Like we had more shots on target, more big chances created, less fouls committed, more XG. The only thing we didn't have was possession, and that also like not by much. It was 47.
Yeah, it was dead even.
So yeah, so probably that's what Xavi's calling that game. So
You think I think like Xavi just gets a report after the game from his assistant coach. It's just it's like a half a page report, and there's only 2 words on it: possession. 3 words: possession, Barcelona, Real Madrid, and that's the only like. And he gets the report: who had more possession. All right, we won, guys. That's it. That's how. Like
yeah.
I'm quite frankly shocked that he said they were better than us tonight. You know, I can like I if there's an argument like from when City fans were saying it, like okay, you can talk about it, but today like it wasn't.
By the way, Kiyan, brace for the next churros, because Diego is probably going to spend 4 hours talking about how Perez bought parking lots or something like that before even
Yeah.
getting to the goal.
If you haven't noticed, I've taken a little bit of break from churros, but like if there was an ever a week for me to not take a break from churros, it would have been this week. It was everything like was in our everything. It was one of our greatest weeks.
I'm not sure I'm even going to enjoy a proper uncontroversial trashing of Barcelona ever, because like a controversial goal disallowed for them, we scoring a penalty, then scoring after 90 minutes. I mean, I love this. Like this is the only acceptable and best way to win against Barcelona.
That's why I said it was a classico. Like it had everything. I do want to talk about. I don't know when I'm gonna get kicked out of here, but so far so good. I thought we could talk about Jude Bellingham, and then we'll take super chats, and then basically go through and see what we missed after that. Okay, so I just want to say this about Jude Bellingham. I thought even if you extract his game-winning goal and take it out of this game, I thought he was fantastic. I thought he worked so hard defensively. He probably should have had an assist because one of his great defensive challenges, and he had 2 back-to-back to end the first half. One of them led to the chance for Vinicius's through, and then he opts to pass it to Rodrigo. He probably should have shot it. I haven't seen the replay. I can't confirm if that what he should or shouldn't have done, but just seeing it in real time, that's what I felt. His control in tight spaces, his dribbling, his link-up play, his creativity, his pressing. Often the only guy pressing, but just fantastic, and of course the game winner was perfect. When I saw the ball come across my face, like across the face of goal, I was ready, like my soul was ready to levitate. I saw it coming, and guys, I can't explain being here. It got so loud, my ears popped, but uh, it was absolute mayhem because as soon as he hits the ball in the top left, in the top right corner, the entire Real Madrid bench just floods the field. Vinicius is like, I thought Vinicius was like still on the field the way he was celebrating with like in the corner there, and then Bellingham just and it's great because you see it on the big screen now with the 360. He does the cojones celebration. He holds his balls right, and then the screen cuts to him, and then it cuts to Xavi, who is just like distraught. It was great scenes, guys. It was great scenes. So, any of you guys want to jump in on Jude? Please go ahead.
Go ahead, guys.
Yeah, I mean, we have seen it throughout the season, and especially knowing how knackered he was after that City game, where he was literally like at times he wasn't even able to walk properly. That particular still of him after that attack and him lying down on Edison, he was completely physically spent in that game, and to come back here and put in that sort of defensive shift that he did today, where Sid mentioned it as well, he has taken a more of a workhorse role today. He was everywhere. He was winning the duel, he was regaining the ball, he was then playing that perfect pass in transition, like for that chance you spoke about, Kian, for Vinicius as well. That ball was so good. It was splitting their backline. There was space on offer. It was perfectly timed, perfectly weighted for Vinicius. Maybe should have shot whatever, but that ball in itself was great. And now we saw in that visual as well, uh, regarding progression via carries, like he was great. Like he was progressing the ball whenever he got onto it. He was carrying the ball forward. So he was basically doing everything that you would like him to after that 120 minutes of hell that he went through at Etihad, and that's just amazing. Like this player to come in and do it, all of this, to have these sort of iconic moments already in his first season, where he wins you a Clasico by scoring a winner, then he wins you another Clasico by scoring a winner, both home and away. Like that's it's just amazing. It's just amazing for me to see. I never in my life would have expected him to come in and settle this well and produce these sort of moments on the regular throughout the season. But it's just amazing to see.
Yeah. Also, that crazy moment. How was that crazy moment in the stadium when Fede went, slid in, and knocked out Frankie? It was like what I was asking for in the podcast before.
Oh, interesting question. Well, uh, it was what seemed to me watching it was, and I don't know, I haven't seen a replay, but it seemed like a strong challenge, like classic Fede warrior style. Was it a foul? I don't know. Did he foul him, or was it?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I felt it was a 50-50. I don't know. He went in real hard, but
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah,
Well,
I'll give you guys some Jude stats real quickly. So
He's like moving on from Sid's question already.
No, we can
Yeah,
come
but-
back. We can come back.
just quickly before like I scroll over, he had like equally like most touches in Barcelona's box, along with Lucas Vasquez. He was the top, second most actually. Vinicius had 8, and in terms of defense, he was the Real Madrid player who won the most tackles. And in terms of duels, he was also, I think, second best. And duels won actually, yeah, second best after Lucas Vasquez. So just outside of scoring the winner, defensively, it was a great performance. Back to you, Sid.
Yeah. Yeah. No, exactly. It's more of saying what I was saying of how he was good defensively. But yeah, Fede just tackled. He really just beat up De Jong. Back to what you were saying, Gian.
No, I have nothing to add. Like I was just like it happened, and then you can tell that Frankie's in a lot of pain because you have it zoomed up on the screen. You can see that happening, and then he gets stretchered off. He gets a standing ovation. Frankie gets a standing ovation when he's subbed off. So I have really nothing else to add. There wasn't actually much of a reaction other than that from the crowd regarding the challenge.
Yeah, I mean, I just want to add, I feel bad for Frankie, but yeah, I mean, it's just a classic thing as a defender. You love this situation in soccer where both of you are going to meet the ball, like opposing each other, but you have way more momentum than the other player when you're running into it. And so Fede was going full speed into it, crashed into the ball at full speed. Frankie was kind of just standing there. He had like, he had no, he was literally just standing there. He pretty much took a few steps forward, maybe light jog at best. And yeah, he just went down immediately, screaming in pain. I felt bad, but also it's just like symbolic of how Barcelona's like whole you know, physiotherapy, they're kind of soft, like whatever they're doing. They're just soft, whatever they're doing. And so their players' bones are soft. Maybe that's why they all make these excuses too. Because they
Because
have
their bones are soft.
no, because they're also mentally soft as a result. You know what I mean? It all comes together. Their bones are soft. They lack the nutrients. They're mentally soft. That's why Xavi makes excuses. Maybe
Hold on, what's that? I don't know.
Gandhi
Are
brought
we
his
gonna get
guy
in
from
trouble
City
for this?
over.
But
Gandhi brought
Managing
his guy
Madrid, Managing Madrid podcast says the Barcelona players have soft bones. I don't want to get in trouble. Like, what does that mean? Like, that's a very definitive claim that you have
No,
no idea.
I'm just joking. I'm
All
just
right,
joking.
messing with that.
This is
I just never know with you. Like, are you kidding? Or are you like?
I am joking, but no, but I just mean like, you know, maybe what if like the lack of nutrients, because maybe Gundo brought his guy from City over, which is why he sounds so different from the rest of them, you know?
So that's gonna be such a great tifo. Imagine in the next Clasico at the Bernabeu, the tifo says your bones are soft when Barcelona comes in.
With Frankie, like with Frankie on it.
I want Gundogan to come out after the game and be like, Xavi's wrong. We weren't better than Real Madrid. What is this weak ass mentality?
Gundogan is probably in some dungeon. They've like hid him. They've tied him up so that he doesn't
Like,
talk to the press anymore.
if every Barca player and Barca fan was like Gundogan, I think like society would thrive so much. Like, imagine the amount of world peace that would be achieved if every Barca player and fan was just like Gundogan. Like, they were reasonable and logical. None of this coming out after every game like, F the refs, F the grass, F the wind. We deserve to win. God. All right, let's take some super chats. I'm sure all four of us have notes on this match that we haven't gotten to yet. So let's do super chats and then go to our notes, and then we'll wrap it here. Wrap it there, rather. Mr. Sushi 22 says, "Let's all laugh at Victim FC." Alex Steiberg, just donation. Thank you so much, Alex. I know you've been a member for so long too over the years. We appreciate your support. Ramki says, on this day in 2012, we had the infamous Calma from Cristiano Ronaldo. What a day, Hala Madrid. It's great.
Wow.
What a day that was. 2012. 12 years ago? What?
Yeah.
Jude and Kama 12 years apart. Nice.
What's that? Soft bones?
No, I just said Jude. Good stuff. Good stuff on the 12th anniversary. Jude does it.
Oh, right. Yeah. A
Next
great tribute.
Super chat is my audio is not audible, guys. Is it better now?
It was fine the whole time to us. That's why I didn't say anything.
No, it was a little bit low to me, but I wasn't
Okay.
sure if it was in the stadium. But this super chat is actually pretty old now, so I think it's
Okay.
fixed now. Yeah, or I don't know. Maybe you had to just turn your gain up or something. I don't know. All right. I have a few notes. Why don't you guys go actually over your notes first? I don't want to monopolize it. Did you guys have anything that we missed? Why don't we go in order? So why don't we start with you, Yash? Things that we can do this rapid fire. Let's go through some things that were missed.
Yeah, so one of the things that I wanted to talk about was the fact that, even with Carvajal, we have seen this throughout the season, wherein we have had our right back constantly, be a presence in the opposition box at the far post, like quite often this season. I mean, I'm not sure if that was the case. Like, yeah, we have had them pop up there at times, but this season that has been a frequent thing, even with Carvajal, and today with Vasquez, it was even more prominent. Like Mehdi mentioned as well, he had the second most touches of all of Real Madrid players in the opposition box. So yeah, and I mean it proved worthy as well. Like he got the goal, he produced that assist as well later on. But yeah, that goal, him just blindsiding Cancelo completely coming out there, and I think that actually helps us a lot because with how we look to switch towards the left hand side after overloading our right like we saw today, and then go for the cross from the left hand side that completely sort of disrupts the opposition defensive structure because they then have to restructure and realign themselves towards the ball. They have to move that way, and that leaves a good bit of space on the far post that we are exploiting with the right back. So I find that pretty interesting that we are using our right back in such an advanced and aggressive manner. I don't know what you guys thought of it throughout the season and in this game in particular.
I thought that happened, but like I thought it was good, but it happened more like when we were desperate, when we were down. Felt like when we were at 1-1, it didn't feel like we were getting, like, even if we were getting Vasquez into advanced areas, it felt like we weren't getting as many others up that advanced. I felt like we were actually being a little conservative at 1-1. Was my feeling just throughout the whole, especially like maybe not right after 1-1, but the longer that went on from 1-1, it felt like the more Barcelona controlled the game. Or we had periods where we had the ball, but we were always careful. It felt like we were careful not to overcommit too many players ahead of the ball, not to overcommit too many players into the box. And that was just my feeling. Maybe I'm wrong, but that was just the feeling I got. But when we were down, yeah, it was cool to see Vasquez attack the box, no doubt. Or when we needed a goal, for sure.
I have something very small to discuss from a game state. I think when we were 2-2, what I noticed was we could have been much more vertical in the final third, but we just chose not to do
Yes.
that.
Yeah, I
Because
agree
there
with
were
this.
even occasions when Vinicius and Rodrigo were both on the left. One of them was making a run, the other would just go to the wing and try to pass it back. I don't know if it was from the fear of losing the ball in those situations, and then a Barcelona transition. Even when Joselu came on and Brahim was driving the ball forward, I saw him either driving it way too much or just not looking for the direct vertical pass. So very very little things, little wrinkles, but that was something I got a bit frustrated with after the 2-2 is what I'm gonna say.
Yeah, I completely agree with Mehdi. This is actually something that drove me nuts at the Etihad too. But and in the first leg against City, and also today, we had Jude, Vinny, and Rodrigo making terrific off-ball runs, and they're just peeling off the shoulder of Barca's defensive line. And you see either Fede with the ball, Tchouameni, Rudiger, even Modric. They're looking like they see it, but they just hesitate and then it's gone. And like you can see every time Jude and Vinny and Rodrigo just like put their arms in the air, just like frustrated that they didn't get it. Because if they did, it was a break. It was a break. Um, so a few things here. Um, we talked about Christensen's goal. I thought the Fermin goal. I mean, it's a very dangerous ball that Yamal plays like that. Just kind of like it's kind of like a half shot, but more like just something in hopes that someone cutting across diagonally across the face of goal will get a touch on it. But the rebound falls to Fermin, and both Chouameni and Rudiger were ball watching in that sequence, and I thought those were like the only kind of that was like really the only moment that I can nitpick with those two. Other than that, I thought they were both good, especially Chouameni. The Vasquez goal, it was just terrific build up on the left side, and Vinicius with a killer left footed pass. Vinicius in general, this is to me uh, a Vinicius game that happens a lot, and I'm okay with it. Is that he hasn't been that efficient. He could have made better decisions. There were moments where he overcomplicated or overthought the decision, but he has moments that where he transcends, and I thought that's kind of what happened today. But could he have been better? Yes. Did he have moments? Yes. Um, uh, Oh, this is kind of just something that I noted. When Camavinga gets the yellow card on Lamine Yamal, it could have been a red if not because of the tackle, but if not for Fede Valverde sprinting his ass off and getting back in time so that it wasn't like a last man back situation. I just noted that I was like, Fede's that will never ever show up on any stat sheet. No one will probably ever talk about it. But Fede just sprinting back in that moment was actually huge. Um, what were you guys' thoughts on Andriy Lunin? There were a couple of moments where he was shaky under pressure. Came out of his net when Lewandowski was on a near break, and Lewandowski couldn't chip him, but he tried. He also could have done better on the corner, but I thought he also had a really good game outside of those three. He had that one incredible pass that sets Vinicius on a
Yeah,
breakaway. He nearly gets
yeah,
an assist. That was
yeah.
unreal. I thought Tchouameni was great again outside of that. One sequence where Fermin scores. I don't know if you guys saw a replay on that because Militao came in the second half. In the 89th minute, he had this crazy bone crunching challenge that apparently was clean. I don't know if it was. Do you guys remember that?
I I I don't think I do.
Okay.
Yeah, me neither.
I need to get your thoughts on the Fede goal kick thing. What is happening there? I couldn't figure it out.
Yeah, that's very hilarious. It looks like I'm from Bangladesh, so the Bangladesh national team does these kind of things a lot. Like,
Oh, maybe Juni Califat went to Bangladesh. It was like,
I don't
I
know,
like that.
maybe like it happens here a lot. Like the goalkeeper doesn't take the goal kick. Whoever has the strongest shot, that defender or that midfielder comes and takes the goal kick, or sometimes even the throw in. So it's hilarious to me. I haven't seen. I've been seeing this since the Mallorca game, and so Mallorca, we did this against Mallorca, against City, and today against Barca again. I still don't know the point.
I think this happens a lot across. I mean, we have been seeing this increasingly a lot that goalkeepers are not taking the goal kicks. Like at least, I mean, from what I've seen, Arsenal consistently do it as well. So I'm not entirely sure about what the advantages of that are, but yeah, I mean, the goalkeepers are not really in teams like even in United as well. In last season, the goalkeeper wasn't taking the goal kicks. It was another player then maybe passing it on to the goalkeeper and then trying to build that sequence off from there. But yeah, I mean, not sure.
Yeah, we have seen more of this for sure. It's usually a defender, but I guess Fede's ball striking is so good they made it him. It could also have been a play for build up where they wanted Fede to vacate whatever zone he was in, overload the area between the center backs, get that little back three going, as we saw in defense, anyways. So it could have just been a safe play. Something they planned. Seems like something they planned in advance. There's this very small chance. I don't think it's because they don't trust Lunin's ball striking ability. I don't think that's the main reason. I think it's more to change the way they set up their
Yeah,
build up.
I think so too. Yeah. But the thing is, like, none of us have seen this as like, oh my God, what a revelation! Thank God this is happening. We're all kind of like, so what does this actually achieve? We're not entirely sure. So that's why I asked the question. I thought maybe I'm missing something, and I don't know. It seems like a very obvious question to ask Carlo in the press conference, but I don't know. No, I don't think anybody has. Um. Just back to Vasquez quickly. I don't know if we mentioned this about him because we talked about him quite a bit at the beginning of the podcast. Uh, in addition to the goal, in addition to the assist, he basically just owned Cancelo on defense and offense, and he also won the penalty with an incredible dribbling sequence. So I just thought we should mention that.
Yep.
And I wanted to share my screen. If you guys go to managingmadrid.com, there's already post-game analysis, and I always kind of like to read, and because there's always things I learn. And in Sam Leverage's post-game piece, where did it go? I thought this one stuck out to me. This is the only on 4 occasions in history has Real Madrid won the entire slate of 3 Clásicos in a season. Like, so the 2 league Clásicos plus if there's an additional Clásico. And it's only happened 4 times. And the most recent time was under Mourinho in the 2012-2013 season.
We didn't
So-
win everything in
No,
12,
we did.
13.
We did.
We didn't win the League Clasico in Camp Nou. It was a 2-2 draw. Both Ronaldo scored a brace.
Oh, yeah.
and Messi
No,
scored a brace.
We got 3 wins over them, but we didn't
Yeah.
win all of them. You're
Yeah.
right. We beat them in the Super Cup, right?
We beat them once in the Super Cup, lost the first leg. Then we drew in Camp Nou. We won at the Bernabeu, but by then the league was already over. That Morata assistant Benzema goal. And then we met in the Copa del Rey again, where we drew the first leg at the Bernabeu 1-1 and then won 3-1 at the Camp Nou.
Yeah, so we did win the Super Cup, and we won the Copa semi as well. Yeah, so we beat them 3 times, but we didn't beat them all 3 times. Yeah, it's nice to go 3-0 against them for sure. It's amazing.
Yeah.
It's a good feeling. It's a good way to cap off. It's like we finished. I think. Well, the commentator said this. Did Carlos say something about how we baked the cake already, and we just had to put the cherry on top? That's what it felt like.
Yeah, but Sam's stat is still correct because like this is the first time since that Mourinho season we have stitched 3 wins. Yeah, that's
The only other thing I just wanted to run by you guys is I think this goes all the way back. I think Yash, you were talking about this in our defensive structure and how Fede would drop into like almost like a 5 at the back, and Cruz was playing pretty deep too in the build up. There were a couple times where okay. Okay, I'll say. So she said we have to leave in 15 minutes. That's not bad. I thought she was kicking us out now. There were a couple times where Tchouameni would go into midfield and like leave his center back post, and Fede Valverde would drop to cover for him. But he wasn't really marking anyone, and there were a couple times where that happened, and Rafinha or Lewandowski would just like have been on a breakaway because we just stopped tracking them, and we were just lucky Barca just didn't exploit it. They tried one time, but Rudiger came over and intercepted a bad pass. So I just wanted to note that like there were definitely things in the first half that we needed to be better on, and I thought it just kind of improved a little bit in the second half. One more super chat. Ramki says, would we see Carlo rotating the squad now? Goulet, Paz?
Goulet, always. I'm down. But
Same.
I don't think we rotate much against Sociedad because we need 7 points more to win the league. So that's 2 wins, 1 draw.
we also might want to go for the record, right?
Yeah, and also like we can get 7 points before facing Bayern both times. So the league is still not won by the time we are done playing with Bayern. So I'm sure Carlo will manage that. But here's the thing, like he can actually, we're going to get these 7 points out of the next 6 games. I have no doubts about that. So he actually can rest a few players against Sociedad. And the game before Bayern's second leg is at home against Cadiz. I'm pretty sure we'll definitely rest few of them. We'll probably see like Joselu, Brahim, them starting against Cadiz. So, yeah, Goulet, we might see Goulet here and there before we are done playing with Bayern. But after we are done winning the league, Goulet will basically start every game, I think.
Yeah, I think until it's like pretty much mathematically over, I
Yeah.
feel like Carlo will play it. Will just try his best to win every game, right? And which makes sense. But what he may do is he may loosen his rotations, knowing that the margin of error is basically like it would be so hard to throw away the league now. It would actually be impressive. Like even if you tried to do it, I don't think you could throw it away.
Madrid did it once. I think it was around 2002-3 or something like that. They lost the last 5 games, and like until the 33rd
The season
game week,
collapsed.
yeah.
I think
they
it
were
was.
on top.
I think it was actually 03-04.
Yeah.
Everything was going, and ironically, it was the Beckham year, and the first Beckham year where like the whole balance was thrown off. But we were actually good up until like a certain point.
If we win the last 6 games, we finish with 99 points. So maybe we want to do that.
Guys,
Maybe.
it's an 11-point gap. Dude, I think
Yeah,
I
and
do you know how hard it would be to throw away 11 points with this at this time of the season? It's
That's what I'm
April
saying.
22nd.
That's why I'm saying just
I think if
99 because you can.
if us four were in the starting lineup for the next 6 games, I think we would not throw away the 11-point lead. We might lose every game, or Jude would bail us out. But I don't think we could throw away 11 points if all four of us were starting
yeah,
for Real
so
Madrid.
we play Alaves at home, Cadiz at home, Granada away. So, well, now the thing is, I'm not saying like we're gonna throw throw the league away. Out of the 6 games that are remaining, 3 of them are against Sociedad, Villarreal, and Real Betis. So those 3 are competitive games. Those 3 are like not not gonna win those like 4-0, 5-0. But we also have the games like Cadiz, Alaves, Granada. So it's pretty much evenly
Those
balanced
guys
out.
also have strong bones, Mehedi. Like all those teams you mentioned have
But
strong.
we can still kick them in the face and test them.
All it reminded me was that somebody posted that meme about different title contenders and the matches remaining, and had them Real Madrid dropping points against Real Sociedad, Villarreal, and all of that. And it's us calculating. I mean, at this point with the win, I think it's over. The title race is
And Barca
done
are
for.
still to play against like Girona and people like clubs like those. Like so, we may not need to win everything that we are talking about winning either
Yeah.
to win the league.
You guys, so I'm literally the last journalist here, and I feel really bad because the lady working here is really nice, and she's basically waiting for me so she can go home. So I think we're gonna wrap it here, and I think we discussed everything. I'll give you guys just like it's a very spiritual experience to just kind of be here by yourself in an entire Bernabeu.
Wow.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, empty, completely
Right.
empty. It's very cool. All right. So thanks, guys, for tuning in. Oh, this is important. So tomorrow I'm traveling, no podcast, but on Tuesday we'll be back with our version of El Dia Después, a day delayed, admittedly, and that's only for members. So if you go over to patreon.com/managing Madrid, you can become a member and get access to a ton of bonus content. Join in a perpetually growing Real Madrid family, which is just awesome. And if you're watching this on YouTube and you don't want to use Patreon and you just want to you can hit join on the bottom of this YouTube video and you'll join the memberships. You'll get exclusive content. Mehedi, you were at our last members podcast. We had Eduardo back. So a lot of you guys have been asking for Eduardo to come back. Where's Eduardo? Eduardo was on for our members a couple days ago. So join the show, guys. Yash, thank you. Sid, thank you. Mehedi, thank you. Listeners, thank you. You guys are awesome. Thank you for joining. And we will see you on Tuesday for members. Peace out, guys. Take care.
Take care, everyone. Bye.